Hello! I'm Sean Nessum, and today I will do another commentary, this time about wheelchairs, specifically the people who design wheelchair accessible things. Bottom line is they do not they obviously do not consult someone in a wheelchair before implementing the changes. Like, first off, and this is a big one, is curbs. There's a curb outside my house on the adjacent street that I have to go down backwards, because if I go down frontwards, I'll fall forward in my chair. And it's wheelchair accessible curb. And the other side, like, there's the curb down that I just talked about, and then there's a street that goes in, and then another curb on the other side. Again, a wheelchair accessible curb. But I pretty much have to go in third gear, which is I think about 50% more power, and force my way up. The curbs are not designed, or people who design the curbs don't consult people in wheelchairs. Another problem is handicap buttons. Well, I still find more than a few doors inside that don't have any Handicap Buttons. Now I am able enough to pull the door and put my foot out to hold it open, but come on, people, it's the 21st century. Things should be more accessible now. Another thing that I can totally understand, but is equally frustrating, is places in Europe, or I hear places that aren't Germany, which is, I've heard, the most wheelchair accessible country in Europe. When I was in France in 2011, I went with my father and brother, and France is not accessible, but again, I understand why. It's a historic city, but let me just tell you, our apartment building we rented had a spiral stair, or sort of stairs up, and then half a landing, and then more stairs, and another half landing, and so on. And it went around in a circle, and they did have an elevator, but the thing was, the elevator was the size of half a stop sign. I pretty much had to press up against the wall to fit. Also, I was heavier then, but the rest of France was accessible enough, except for the day we went to Père Lachaise Cemetery. That's the famous cemetery where people like Shakespeare was allegedly buried, Molière was buried there. Jim Morrison of the band The Doors was buried there, and while just a lot of famous people. I really enjoyed that cemetery. I didn't see anybody famous, but we did see a few cool things, like wine bottles in crypts, but anyway, I'm getting off topic. The problem with that cemetery is I took my manual chair and it's cobblestones, right? So each cobblestone was about 2 inches apart. So once you get over one, you get down easy, but then you have to try to get up the next one. And the thing with that cemetery is it is all uphill. And in short, we had to, my dad and brother had to push me through the cemetery, and then we were tired, so we said, oh, fuck it. And so we left, and we went and had lunch at the restaurant, but in Florence, which was by far my favorite part of that trip, even better than the part where we drove through the Alps. In Florence, there was much the same problem. Like, the cobblestones were uneven, and all through Europe there were gypsies on the side of the road, like pandering for money or whatever, and one day in Florence, my front wheel of my wheelchair blew off. So my dad left for about an hour to get a screwdriver to fit it back on. So my brother and I were on the sidewalk like the gypsies and waiting with this busted wheelchair in front of us. And the Italians were walking by, stopping and laughing at us. So that wasn't fun. And then when my dad finally got the tire back on, later that day, the tire blew off again. So anyway, it was fixed, but that was the difficult parts of my Europe trip. But anyway, the point of this long story is that the people who design so-called wheelchair accessible things don't really know what the majority of people in wheelchairs need. That's my commentary. In addition, I did love that Europe trip though. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Do 2 videos a day, 5 days a week, except for weekends. So 7 days a week except weekends. I get weekends off. Some days I'll do commentaries like this one. Talking about issues in society. Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr are in the description. And as always, hit like if you liked it. Goodbye.